I've read over 650 books, but I've only given 89 of those 5 stars. And when I started to look at those 5-star books, I started to see trends that they had in common. And now I'm curious, can I find and predict my next 5-star read based on this data? I did a 5-star audit for my top tier patrons last week, inspired by Becca's 5-star audit. I'm gonna leave her video linked down below. And I think the original creator of this is Meg with Books. Probably like 3 years ago, I did one on my channel, and I'll also link that one down below for you. So in this vlog, I'm going to take the data from that 5-star audit that I did and read books that have those things. Hopefully, I'll find a new book to obsess over. That's the goal of this video. I'll walk you through all my picks. I'll walk you through why I'm picking them. Also, sorry if the sound is weird. I am house sitting, dog sitting for my sister. So we're in some new spaces. A really main trend I noticed in all the fantasy romance I love is reluctant allies to lovers. Truly the most top tier trope. And if I looked at any romance I loved, very few did not have this trope. I think it often gets called enemies to lovers, but when you really sit down to it, it's reluctant allies to lovers. My favorite forms of it have always been trial settings. Something like Serpent and the Wings of Night I loved, or Phantasma, where they're forced to work together to get through these trials, even though they don't really want to. And yes, they're kind of enemies, but not really. They're just reluctant to work together at the start. Chef's kiss for me. Another way I love it is arranged marriage, or the marriage of convenience more particularly, because they're forced into this marriage for a reason. They have to work together in this marriage. They're agreeing to this marriage for some reason. House of Bane and Blood, one of my favorites that has this. I eat this up every single time. There are definitely more ways I've loved reluctant allies to lovers, but those are the two that really stand out to me as like the reason I love those books is that trope. And so I think I'm gonna pick up Till Death by Miranda Lynn, which is actually recommended to me from Mel from Eleanor Reads, and I think it covers some of the other things I also really like in books. I believe it's a city setting, and I did learn recently that I really like an urban setting on a secondary world. So not necessarily our world. I don't want to watch us in Toronto or New York, but I do want to watch us in a city setting, like an urban grand city of some sort in a fictional world. Some of my favorites that have had that are City of Gods and Monsters. The Blood Mercy series has its own city. House of Bane and Blood is also a city setting. Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rowick is a city setting. So I definitely love a secondary world urban setting, and I think this is set in a city as well, so that hits another reason why I think I could love this. But I actually don't think I've told you, I just said that I'm picking up for reluctant allies to lovers. It is a marriage of convenience. There is an arranged marriage in here, and I think that that's something I'm gonna eat up. And then these two things are kind of hard without reading it, but character wise, I really like an unlikable female character, but I find that I like them unlikable in the way that they're impulsive. I myself am a rash person, so I think this is self-inserting a little bit. My mouth gets me in trouble far too often. I talk without thinking, so I'm probably good at yapping on BookTube, but then I can cut out things later. And I like when they're stubborn. I like when they have these strong values that they really believe in and aren't afraid to like stick by. I don't really have examples of this, but it's something I like, and I hope that this female main character can vibe with that, and I'll let you know. And then male character wise, I love a funny, confident male love interest. I think humor, picking on each other are something that I really value in a relationship. I am constantly picking on my man. I love to make fun of him. He loves to make fun of me. It's all in a loving way. It's not offensive. And I do think in romantasy, it's a little bit more, since they are enemies, reluctant allies, it's a little bit more picking than like just like fun romantic banter that like I'm 9 years into a relationship. It's a little bit different, but I just want someone confident. I want snarky. I want sarcasm. I want someone who's not afraid to go for what they believe in. Again, like I like a really confident male to know what he wants and take it. And I also love a very protective man. Think like Who Did This to You and Will Die for You. I really love for my males to prioritize the female's safety over other things, even over her own happiness. Her safety really matters. I definitely prefer that. This like comedic, but not in a comedic relief way, like sarcasm funny, and like I don't know how else to put it. I just like don't find that I love a really like brooding, in the head, self-sacrificial male character. I definitely much prefer confidence and witty. So I'm thinking those are the main things that this book could have for me that I really enjoy. So hopefully it's a 5-star. I'll keep you updated. I'm gonna go order some dinner, probably hop on some Patreon sprints and get started. I ordered dinner. What do you think I got? And did you guess sushi? I will give you a reading update. I'm really enjoying this. The writing style did take me a little bit, but I prefer first person. Just takes me a while to get into like the character's head. But as I'm reading, I'm only on like chapter 3. I'm really liking this like grittier world we're setting up with her being like Death's child almost. Like she has to do Death's dirty work. Very much invested. I'm 200 pages into Till Death, so I definitely have some updates for you. I really do want to get a little bit more analytical with this. Talk about things I like, talk about things I don't like, so that we can hopefully find more things in common. Like essentially when I call this a 5-star audit, I think it's more of a trend report, because I wouldn't say that books having these things automatically make it a 5-star. I don't think these are things that I go, oh my god, 5-star, but they are trends in my books that I tend to love. In the 4 stars, the 5 stars, these are things that I constantly gravitate towards. And so I want to just like pull apart books and be like, why did this not work for me in this? Or like, why did it work for me in this? And hopefully as we do that, we have better ideas so we can find that 5-star read. In this one, humans are going to be knocked off the planet. They're just going to kill themselves off. So the god of death comes and makes them a deal. You can have 100 years of life. 100 years, no death can get you, but I will rule, essentially. And I don't really know the ins and outs, which is one of the things I'm struggling with in this book. I really want to know more and understand this society a little bit better, because then we have the Death Maiden and the Life Maiden, and our main character is the Death Maiden. Essentially, whenever Death wants someone dead, he comes to her and puts a name on her palm, and then there's like death magic in her that pulls her to this person, and she can't resist it until she murders him, essentially, and then Death comes to claim his soul. I think this can be anyone, and that's why they're so scared of the Death Maiden, but it wasn't 100% explained. And do they just die off at 100 years? I have questions that I want answered, and I think that's something I'm struggling with, is like, give me more details on actually how the society works. She just like killed off 2 important people, and like I feel like there haven't been a lot of repercussions. There have been repercussions, but they've kind of been in the backhand of the story, and I kind of want them to be more forefront. So things that are working for me is her. Because essentially we follow her. She's this Death Maiden. She's this all-powerful being. Everyone is terrified of her, and she kind of knows it, and she sticks it to everybody and doesn't really care. However, she's also internally struggling because she's the Death Maiden. Everyone's scared of her. No one wants to be her friend, and people don't treat her the best, and she doesn't really know love or kindness, and so that's something she's struggling with. And she is trying to save her soul. She tries to act differently than every other Death Maiden to ever exist. She definitely feels guilt for the kills that she does. So I do like her. I think she is a good main character in that aspect. I'm struggling a little bit, as I said, with the world building. It just feels a little bit more murky, not well explained. And I'm struggling with the romance, I think. It came a while ago where there is this arranged marriage. I always thought it was reluctant allies to lovers because of that. This doesn't really hit that at this moment. I think it could grow into reluctant allies to lovers, but essentially he tricks her into marrying her, and then she just hates him and wants nothing to do with him. And she's not really like, I feel like when I like reluctant allies to lovers, they've made a pact, they've made a deal, they're helping each other out for some reason. And I don't think I get that in this. That is something that I wish I got actually. Like I wish that they had made a deal already. I can see it coming. Like I feel like I can see the moment that they are going to end up working together for something. But right now that's not happening, and really it's just her running away from him constantly. I'm kind of sick of that, especially because it's not giving me more of the world. And I feel like I love a fast-paced book. That is something also on my audit, is a fast-paced page-turning story, but I feel like this is almost too fast-paced because everything feels almost surface level as I go because they're happening so quickly. I need a little bit of time sometimes to digest things. And I like the grittier world that this is. That's another thing on my audit. I really liked bleak worlds, but I just want more. Like I need it to be well explained, if that makes sense. So I'm liking this one. I'm enjoying it. I switched to the audiobook for a bit and I like that. I think it's probably going to be a 3-star. It's enjoyable for me for sure, but it's not like I'm not kicking my feet screaming at the romance, which I think in romantasy I know pretty quickly. Once the romance comes in, I'm normally like obsessed with it, or it's a 3-star. So I think that's not working for me. I think the romance in this one and the world building is just not 100%. Which I think also, as I said before, it's a trend report, and these books have to have multiple things. Like I don't just like reluctant allies to lovers. It needs to be reluctant allies to Lovers, with a main character I like, with a male character I like, with a bleak world. Like these all build upon each other to make books I love. That's why I should call it a trend report. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm still enjoying this. I want to read it. Although the problem with this is I already know what book I want to read next, and I kind of just want to dive into it and DNF this one because I'm like, well, it's not a 5-star, and the whole point is I want to find a 5-star. But that's always a struggle with doing things like this. But also I'm enjoying this to the point that I would like to finish it because it's also a series of standalones that are like companion novels, and I could see book 2 really working for me if I enjoy this one. Like there's chances for the other companion novels to really work for me. So I have to finish this one. And maybe it'll turn around. I have had books surprise me before. I think something I really need in my stories is clear motivations. I think I'm struggling with that in this book. We've made it to chapter 31, which is I think 70 more pages from where I last was and is 41% in. I think the more the story goes on, the less I'm kind of liking it, and it's because I'm just so confused by things. Motivations for one, like why did this man marry her? Why did he make these deals? Like there's just like questions. I think they're trying to make the motivations themselves be this like mystery that she has to unwrap as she goes, but I can't find myself invested into the romance or even the character decisions because I'm very confused about why we're even in this position in the first place. Like it's okay. I'm frustrated because the first 100 pages of this book, I thought it was going to be a 5-star. I was obsessed with her magic, the dark grittiness of the world. And then we met him for the first time and he was funny and I liked him. And then since then, I'm just confused about why they're even together. I'm confused about why he married her. I'm confused because he isn't in this position of power anywhere. I'm confused about why he made deals for her safety because he acts like he hates her, and it's just not making any sense in my brain. So I do think something I need pretty quickly is clear motivations of why they're working together. Maybe that's again why reluctant allies to lovers can often work for me, because they make a deal at the beginning. Their motivations are clear. In Serpent on the Wings of Night, they want to survive. They have to align. In Phantasma, same thing. I think I could add that to my list of things I really want. Is this necessary? I'm trying to film. Men! You're stepping on my phone! I don't know if Porter's gonna let me continue talking. I also ended up texting Mel for some clarification about the world building, how like the death thing worked. And so everyone lives till 100 years unless she kills them. So death will give her names, but then also she does have the ability just to kill people by herself, which is why people are scared of her. But I think I would have liked a conversation about overpopulation then, because I don't think that death is giving her a name often enough to help with overpopulation. And so I think that would have been interesting to add to this like storyline. I think I need more from the story than what it's giving at this moment. Depth or something. It's like fun, it's surface level, and I think that's okay in its own right. And I do enjoy those books, but I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star. I'm not sure I'll update you again. I might just listen to the whole thing unless something pops into my mind that I really need to say. But really it was the thing about motivations. I really just needed to get that out of my brain as fast as possible before I forgot it. I'm DNFing this book. I hate this because I went into it being like, this is going to be 5 stars. And then as I read it, I started off on a high, and every like 75 pages, I feel like it went down a star. And I got to a point where I just don't care. I'm at like 63%. If I finish this, it'd probably be a 3-star. It's just okay. It's such a mid book. And I think the reasons I went into this were for a romantasy. And I wouldn't really call it a romantasy. The two main characters don't really interact. They barely talk to each other. It does not feel like reluctant allies to lovers. The world building is cool, but it's not complex enough. Like they don't dig deep enough. I'm just confused by everyone's motivations, why people are doing things. There's like a really cool like deal happening with like the maestro that I do really like, but that's like the only thing I even care about remotely. So I'm at a point where I'm like, I still have 3 hours of listening time left on my listening speed. Do I care to finish it? And the answer was no. I was being hard on myself because I was like, well, I should finish it because I'm not gonna hate it. But then I remembered that we're in the era of DNFs and it has helped me this year. So we're DNFing this, we're blessing and releasing, and we're moving on to bigger and better things. Hopefully. So we're picking my next book, and I think I'm gonna pick up The Final Strife by Sarah Ella Reefy. I have read from her before. I liked Feybound. I didn't love it, but I definitely saw potential, and I feel like I've heard way more good things about this one, so I'm definitely more excited. The thing that I know I love that is in this book is rebellions, revolutions, themes on war, themes about government being corrupt, about propaganda, about fighting back against the corrupt system, history being written by the victors, like things like that. In-depth conversation that brings so much to stories for me, and it really can hit home, especially in today's political climate, things like that. Just off the top of my head, Red Queen, The Poppy War, Fireborn, The Bone Season, The Hunger Games, Ashes of the Sun, Along Thy Razor's Edge. It's something that I know I love hearing authors share. I love hearing deep discussions on it. I know that this story is going to be discussing those things, and I can't wait for that. I also believe it does have trials, which is not something that I automatically think is a buzzword, but I definitely think it helps keep a book fast-paced, which is something I really enjoy. I do like trials, but it's not like trials specifically that I like. I think it's the pacing of trials that I like. I feel like it keeps the plot moving forward pretty quickly. Another thing I've learned that I really like is like messy family drama. Messy family politics is probably what I'm gonna call it. And I believe in the synopsis of this one, we talk about her mother being like the cruelest emperor. And so I think there's going to be some of that, specifically with families of money or high up in power. I feel like there's just like a lot of politics within the family, like how kids have to act, things like that, if that makes sense. Books I love that have that, Zodiac Academy and Reign of Shadows and Endings. So I hope that has some aspect of it. I really just like family relationships in general in stories. And then I also kind of mentioned it in the last book that I really do like stories that have like bleak worlds. I think it's because often it adds to that discussion about government and corruption and like stuff like that. I feel like there's really good nuances to stories with bleak worlds. And I believe this is also going to be a bleak world. Like a cruel world / setting is kind of more how I would say it instead of just like bleak. But I feel like some of my favorites that fit this is The Cruel Prince, The Ninth Reign, Zodiac Academy, Direbound, The Claw and the Crown. And so I just think that this one has a lot that I want, as well as probably going to be something that I've kind of been calling girl fantasy. Fantasy written by women for women. Fantasy that does have romance and love and things like that and isn't afraid to get a little girly at times, but it's still epic in scope. Most of the time it's multi-POV. It still feels very grand, you know? And things that I would say fit this idea of girl fantasy that I love is The Bone Season, the Witchland series, Reign of Shadows and Endings, Zodiac Academy. Very complex system still in place, but you can tell they're kind of written more for like a female gaze than a male gaze, which I feel like a lot of fantasy is written for a male gaze. And they're kind of separate than romantasy still, even with romance elements to it. Like there's like an epic scope to them. And I think this will fit that as well. So I'm just very excited. Hopefully we actually have a win this time. My hair is so flat. Why is it doing this? Maybe I need to recurl it. Let's talk the final strife. I honestly could be here for a while. This could be a long clip because there's so much in this story that I want to discuss. It's kind of crazy having read another book by this author. I was not expecting this when I went into it. I had heard a lot of people like this one a lot more than Feybound, but this feels like maybe not a different author because I do still see those makings, but honestly Feybound feels so much more surface level than this story does. This book is so in-depth and deep and like a mirror to society because it's based around things like racism and prejudice that happen in today's society, that happened in the old days, that happen now, that are going to happen in the future unless we have stories like this and we change and we are made aware of how disgusting we are as beings, essentially. Because we have story and story about this thing because they actually happen. Essentially in this we follow 3 blood types that equal their status in society. We have the red bloods, which are at the top, the blue bloods, which are in the middle, and then the clear bloods, which are bottom of the totem pole and treated disgusting. This is such a cruel world in my opinion, which is horrible considering I believe that you could really mirror it to our society in a lot of aspects and things that have happened in our world. I think stories like this are always so beautiful because they're eye-opening in many ways, and I think that this story is a little on the nose about it, but at this point in where we are as human beings in the political climate of today's, we need these things shoved in our face. I feel like people aren't learning, so we need it literally explained to us as dumb as possible sometimes, and I think that this book is doing a beautiful balance of it. There is a conversation in this of literally one of our characters, because I think it's really well done, where we're following a character in each blood type, and they all have prejudice of their own within that blood type, even though obviously the person in that like highest standard has been treated so much better than the other people, she still is dealing with microaggressions and things like that. But we follow these 3 characters, and there's a point where the one that's like in the top kind of has a moment where they're like, wow, I'm even think about these things. And what does that say about me as a human? That I didn't even think to question these things that these people have just grown up dealing with. And I think that that is very real to our society, and we need to be more aware of situations like that maybe we should think about things. Anyways, I could go on and on about how like beautifully nuanced this story is, how well crafted it is, how like deeply we need to hear this as humans. But I also want to talk about the book a little bit, because I personally think discussions like that bring so much to me, especially when I can see their real world effects and stuff. I read for escapism for sure, and I think that's why I like that it's not 100% our world. Like, it is magic and it is a fictional setting and world, but I do like to dive into human nuances and discussions like this very much in my books. Like, I read for escapism, but I still think books are political, and I'm loving that aspect of this one quite a bit. I think that's why I love Revolution and Rebellion books, because in some aspect they are still escapism. They're almost all fictional, but there is these deeper themes and stuff that pull from humanity as a whole, pull from our past mistakes, pull from the mistakes we are currently making, things like that. So I definitely love that aspect of this book so much, and I think it's so well done, and I feel so much for all of these characters. I also think it hits the main character I like. As I said, there's 3 characters. The one that we mostly follow is, I would say, our main character, even though we definitely have 3 POVs. In this book, at one point, there was a little bit of a revolution being planned. They decided enough is enough, and a bunch of blue bloods, which are like the second tier in society, but they're treated like way worse than the top tier. Like, the difference between the blue bloods, which is the middle tier, and the top tier are drastic. I also think the difference between the blue bloods and the white bloods is also quite drastic. Oh, another thing to note is the blue bloods have prejudice against the white blood. So like, the prejudice is in all layers. It's complex. Okay, but the blue bloods decided enough is enough, and that they wanted to get revenge. They wanted to figure out a way through. So they come up with a plan to steal the babies, essentially, of highborn families. And to do that, they swap out their babies. They sneak into the castles, they replace the babies with a blue blood, and they take the red blood baby. And then they raise this red blood baby in poverty, in prejudice, and they make them so that they will relate and want to fight for the blue blood rebellion. But eventually, when they're older, they can enter this tournament for the red bloods that any red blood, as long as you have red blood, can do, which then picks the next like leader. So they're trying to like have a duster, is what they call the blue bloods, on top. They have the red blood, but in their heart they are a blue blood. And I think that's like a really interesting story. And so we follow the red blood that was stolen, and we also follow the blue blood that was replaced in the red blood. And I really just think the difference in how they were treated and what went on is really, really in depth. But then this world is cruel, and I could see it happening in our world, which is scary. The cruelness you really see in that like clear blood very quickly. I will say within like the first chapter, you know this, so I don't think it's a spoiler. Their tongues are cut out as babies, as well as their hands, but they are still expected to do things that you would do with your hands. So essentially all of the clear bloods they're called ghostings, and they are servants essentially. So they still sweep the floor, they still pour the tea, they still do all of that, and things have just adapted to their limbs. But like, it's honestly kind of crazy how they control the population of the ghostings and all of this other stuff, because obviously control of these things matters, because you have to keep your lowest in society poor if you want to maintain your rule, is what they think up top, you know? They have to be small and poor, and they can't have enough numbers that they can rebel. And it's absolutely disgusting, and it's so well done in this story and so believable. Like, this world is so in my head. Like, I know all the things, and it's crazy. It is so well done. I am literally flying through this book. I'm 150 pages in already, and I've been stopping myself from reading because I knew I had to do this update. So I'm like, I can't read because I'll read another 50 pages very easily, and I need to update the vlog before I fly through. But this is so good. Like, I can't believe I haven't read this. This hits so many of my favorite books. Honestly, the closest I remember to feeling this way is when reading The Poppy War and just being so angry for all of these characters, and also angry at our world, at society, because The Poppy War is also the same thing where it's very real world. A lot of things in The Poppy War are actually from real history, and I just remember being so angry at society, at myself at times, being like, oh, I fell into that trap. Like, when they talked about in this story about being blind to things, I was like, I have definitely been blind to things before, and I need to make a more of an effort always. Like, I can never forget to always start thinking about things that I never even thought I had to think about. So like, I'm angry at myself, I'm angry at society, I'm angry at the book, I'm angry at the world. I just like have such an in-depth spiral of emotions as I read this because it's so cruel, but then I'm also just like rooting for them so much, and I love that aspect of it. I really do love being able to root for a character and see what's going on with her, and I think that the characterization of all these characters has been done so well. There's other things like drug use in this and how drugs affect someone, how you turn to drugs because you're hopeless, and all of these things. There's so many good themes. There's a theme about how the best way to crush a rebellion is sometimes hope, honestly. Most of the time it's like a lack of hope, but there are things like letting them have someone that's under your pocket, someone that you know and you kind of control, have a little bit of power so that they think, oh, that person's fighting, so we don't have to fight because that person's fighting, but that person is under your control, which is where crime lords end up kind of coming into in stories like this. I could literally keep vomiting out words. I hope everything made sense, because I literally am just vomiting everything out right now. I just love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I think I did it. I think I predicted a 5-star. That's exciting. And once we do it here, can we do it again? Because I don't want to stop the vlog after this one. I would like to read at least 3 books. First one was a fail, but I think the things I predicted that book to have were the problem because I don't think it had those things. But now I'm also curious, if I look at all my favorites, how many have all of my favorites? Like, I would love to know at the end of this. I'm gonna have to maybe do it. This book, how many of my favorite things does it hit? How many of the trends that I saw in my 5 stars does this hit? How many does each 5-star of mine hit in the trend report? Because most of them hit multiple things. It's never just one. I don't think one trend makes a 5-star. It's all of these things combined. But is there a number that it has to hit for me to love it? Like a minimum amount of trends it has to have? I need to do more data and research. But I'm loving this and I'm gonna keep reading. I'm actually gonna download the audiobook for a bit so that I can film some stuff, probably for this intro actually, and keep reading because I'm obsessed. Guys, today's the day. Fresh out of the shower, but today's a big day, so I gotta get my day going because Mel, Lexi, and Monica are here today and I'm so excited. I cleaned downstairs. Whatever mess you see here, just ignore. They don't get here until tonight, so I have a full day, but I have so much I need to do, starting with grocery shopping. We are heading out to my cabin for a couple days to just like enjoy the sun. So I need to go to Superstore, get all the groceries, and then I'm actually driving out to my cabin. It's only like 45 minutes away, so it's not that bad, to drop off the groceries so that it's just easier. They're already in their places than me having to like come home, put them in my fridge and freezer for 10 hours, and then put them back in my car with all these people and our luggage and things like that. So that's my first plan. I'm hoping to get a decent amount of the audiobook listened to because I can listen to it on the drive there and back, and while I'm grocery shopping if I bring my AirPods. And then I have some editing I need to do. I need to finish up cleaning. My room needs to be cleaned, and I need to pack because we went cheap. We go to New York in like 2 months altogether, and so that one's more expensive, and originally I wasn't going on that trip, so they decided to come to me, and then I got FOMO and I decided to make it work and go to the New York trip. But so like it was kind of impromptu that we had both of these trips so close together, so we went really cheap on this trip, and they're essentially bringing the bare minimum so that they didn't have to pay for luggage, and they're just gonna borrow my clothes while they're here, which is perfectly fine, especially like things like sweaters and t-shirts. I definitely own a lot of those, so no problem to have people borrow. So I need to pack up. I'm pretty much the only one with a suitcase, which is funny because I live here. I need to pack up a whole suitcase of sweaters, t-shirts, comfortable shorts, things like that for us to use for the next week, while also reading a book, editing videos. I need to get my TBR edited. I need to do a thumbnail for the vlog that has to go tomorrow. I got so much to do. I need to get my day going. We're gonna go grocery shopping and up to the lake and prep everything. Our grocery haul, I obviously had to get them fuzzy peaches. I brought these to the States last time, but I feel like they're just a must in Canada. You know? We're gonna make limeades, and there's also lemons for lemonade. We're having shrimp. I'm very excited for that. And then a famous Auntie's chicken. And then my brie sandwich that I'm always making. Had to have that while everyone's here. Gonna teach them how to eat vegetables. And of course I had to get chips, all dressed because that's not a thing other places, which is savage. Ketchup, also very Canadian, but I think these are disgusting. And then Lexi requested Doritos, but I got the zesty cheese, which I don't think they have in the States. So yeah, I gotta put this in the fridge now. Tell me why picking a watermelon is like one of the most stressful things to do. I do know that you're supposed to look for these things, and I think this edge is supposed to be a little bit raw, and you want it to look like it ripened on the vine, not in like a box. Hopefully it's a good watermelon because I'm making watermelon salad for my friends.
I got these. I always get the essay and blueberry ones, and the pomegranate ones are actually just as good. I think I still like the blueberry ones better, but like these also hit.
It's been a crazy 24 hours. I actually can't explain how crazy it's been. I'm reading. I did a lot of errands yesterday to get ready for my friends to be here, which you can see someone. And so I got to 50% of the book. I'm really loving it. It's probably going to take a hit because now that they're here, I'm not going to be reading very much. So it will take me a little bit longer to read it, I think, just because I will have a shorter amount of reading time. Even though we are readers, I don't think any of us really plans to just sit down and read. We're really excited to see each other and like hang out. We get to do this like once a year, even though we're doing it twice a year this year, or twice this year. But I do love how all of the girls, like all the POVs we're in, are fighting for something, and they have something to prove to not only the world but also themselves. I think that just makes their POVs very relatable because we all struggle with things. There's all things that we're like, we can do this, that people think we can't, and we want to prove other people wrong. But also I feel like more often than not, we just want to prove that we can do things to ourselves. We want to prove that we can be a better person. We can climb the marathon. We can wake up and read 100 pages a day every day. Like, we're always trying to prove things to ourselves. So I find it really, really relatable. I'm really enjoying all the perspectives. I actually ended up buying the Illumicrate editions of these books, so I'm definitely loving it. I think I predicted a 5-star. But the stressful day that was yesterday, listen up, story time. Mel, Monica, Lexi were supposed to get in together. So they all flew from different places. They flew into Denver. Then they had a flight from Denver to Edmonton together. I was supposed to pick them up at 10 p.m. There ended up being storms in Denver, and Mel's flight ended up being rerouted to Kansas to wait out the storm. And so she ended up not at the airport until 9:06 p.m. when her flight to Edmonton from Denver was supposed to leave at 7:15 p.m. Monica and Lexi were on the same flight because they came from the same area. Their flight was also delayed due to the storms, but they made it in and they managed to get to the flight before 7:15. They get on the flight to Edmonton. The Edmonton airport is closed and has a grounding of all airplanes to it until 9 p.m. So they sat on an airplane in the Denver airport for 2 hours until takeoff. Mel landed at 9:06 p.m. Like, she just touched down at 9:06 p.m. And the flight she would have needed left at 9:15. So she literally like just missed it, and that feels so freaking cruel. I hate that for her. So I ended up picking up Monica and Lexi at midnight, and then we came out to my lake. But Mel had to stay overnight because there was no other flights here. So she got on the quickest one, which was at 11 this morning. So we're going to leave soon to go pick her up from the airport, and I'm so excited to have everyone here. It's been fun. We've been in the pool this morning, just chilling. Honestly, we slept most of the morning because obviously they didn't get until midnight, and then we had to drive out to the cabin, which is an hour drive, and then we yapped for a while because we haven't seen each other, even though we talk every day and see each other on Patreon sprints pretty much every day. But, you know, it's not the same. So, yeah. Now I don't know what we're doing. Lexi, come! What? Come!
Yeah, Mel's part.
Well, Mel's not here, but it does have melons. Say hi.
Hi. I'm very dark. Okay, there we go.
There's no light on in the room.
Yeah. Is that a bug? No. Okay, never mind.
I honestly always think it's a bug. So relatable. This is Lexi.
I'm so dark right now.
It's because I'm using the window light.
I know.
But also I am 18 shades lighter than you.
Yeah.
We could just... Now I'm literally glowing.
I mean, I'm not quite as dark, so...
It's fine. Meet Lexi. You've met her before. But she's here in Canada.
It's very flat.
It is a prairie. I live in a prairie.
Not many trees.
There are a lot of trees out there.
Well, out here, but...
In the city, yeah. None. You'll get to drive it during the day today, so...
I'm excited.
See it all different. We're gonna go to Jasper, I think, one time. So, yeah, that's all we're doing. Monica's showering, so I can't yell for her. She might be naked.
Is she showering?
She was, I think.
Okay. I didn't know she...
Well, bye. She's been called!
Susan, you didn't include me in this!
Get on the little bed.
Now you get to be the dark one.
We should put me back there so there's no light in. This is our squad until Mel gets here. Sad for
Poor Mel.
Poor Mel. I would be so stressed that entire time.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have made it worse and stayed in the airport.
Same.
Like, I would not have paid.
Same.
So, she slept because of that.
It was only 12 hours.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know. Oh, God. Yeah. We're really good at vlogging. Okay, bye. We're having a pool day. It's sunny. It's hot. It's so nice.
Here, you can, like, keep your upper body.
This one doesn't know how to swim. So Lexi is trying to teach her how to float.
Look at that crane we were talking about.
We can rest
Do you know? We'll get you to safety.
Monica says an excuse to not
Ma'am, we can help you to safety.
Mel, you're such an old lady. You just have a cramp.
Where is it? It's in my house.
This is incredible.
Should have pretended like that's not what happened.
I went on a whole rant that was like, nobody gets cramps. And then Mel does it.
Here's the thing, I get cramps without eating, so that's just me. I don't know electrolytes.
This is my Sharky friend. And our lemonades.
Like, this is just
Your hips need to go up. There you go.
But I'm just holding myself up like this.
Well, release your arms.
I can't.
I gave up teaching Monica. I was like, I'm just
I will sing.
sing to where your butt's gonna hit the thing. Yes, you are. I got you. You're not getting out of this.
You will not float overboard.
Put your head back.
Ears
in the water.
Think about when your arms float, they float with your legs. Monica's face is so red.
I'm taking you further in. And then I'm gonna drown if you don't float. I'm gonna die. There's definitely more water today.
There is.
Can we go back to the stairs? I promise I'll do it right. If you let me.
Let go of me. I pushed you this way.
This is so red.
This is what happens though. Like,
What's the funny thing is, Monica's the one panicking. I'm like,
Are you driving us? Yes, absolutely.
You just yelled about bulk croutons.
I can eat a whole bag of croutons. This is not like.
Mel would literally be Ubering croutons.
Actual judge. Croutons are very important.
But
The most important part of any like salad or anything.
Mel did arrive.
I did arrive.
I didn't know that. Look, she is dressed.
What?
Dressed.
They said dressed. Yeah.
Of course I'm not naked. No, she doesn't know what to pick. She's just walking the aisles. Mel has picked things. Chocolate things.
Yes.
I got sour ropes. I don't know what Monica's doing, but probably just as stressed as Lexi.
Yes. Would you like to see the ultimate Canadian candy?
Find out, eh?
What are you doing?
Slap his shoulder. Oh, then I got my feet. Nah, I get to be dramatic. I'm trying to pull my feet away from my hands.
I gotta remember how I did this before because it was kind of clear a lot more like.
All my friends together in one place. Literally.
Nobody else is allowed to be your friend.
We're on a hike / walk. Say hi. Hi.
Space, so I just.
Lexi thought you only had to climb 368 meters, not 3,000.
Listen.
And that's why Monica said it would be fun. Quick vlog update. We went to Jasper yesterday. We are now staying at my sister's house for the next couple of days. Sadly, Monica leaves us in the morning.
Don't say that.
It's very sad, but we're gonna spend a really good day together first. And we're gonna eat some good sandwiches next. And then I get to see you guys in like 2 months anyways. It's really quick. I'm like, this is too much almost. Okay, that's all. That's for vlog update. Bye. Creepily watching me still. What's she doing? She great.
I'll take a minute with you. Okay. Wait, hang on. I gotta find a spot that's actually got stuff in it this side. I don't think I got any of the hot honey sauce on it.
Yeah, because you switched sides.
Well, this side didn't have any meat on it, so I switched sides. Oh, I can taste it.
Oh, there it
There's the guy sitting laughing.
It was just the like, oh, I did. My plate, look at all that salad. But she's trying
I'm trying it.
And she cooked our shrimp for us. Vlogception. 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 We're playing. Oh! When you put 4 booktubers in a room and we play it.
Oh wait, we're starting.
Overcooked. We're literally so close. It was my fault. It fell off.
Let's see it. I was trying to get back to Mel. Put it on the mushroom like caramel first.
I think somebody should do that dance.
The onion dance?
Yeah. I was gonna point the camera at Mel, but I was not expecting her to do it. And then she already did Hey, Renee. Yeah, are you about to be fed by Lexi?
Epic coordination, wow.
What do you mean? No, now it's not complete. I'm upset. I don't want it. I don't want it. I finished The Final Strife a couple days ago while my friends were here. I just didn't update you because there was a lot going on and I knew I wasn't going to be reading my next book yet because we were barely reading. However, this is one of the best books I have ever read. This was incredible. An easy 5-star from me, which makes me feel good that I can predict it. I don't even have words to explain like how well written this was, how intricate it was. It's a debut. It does not feel debut-ish at all. Actually, I think her book that she writes afterwards, Faybound, feels way more debut than this. This was so good. I am salivating to get to book 2, which means I need to read the next book for this vlog so that I can get into book 2 really quickly. But for The Final Strife, I just think the characters were so well done. It has so many of those things that I talked about being those buzzwords, which I think would be interesting to see how many it checks off. And my closest comparison to it is one of my favorite books of all time. It is The Poppy War. I just think the way this is written in terms of real world vibes and pure feminine rage and a lot of discussions on systematic racism and what that means. I think this is my closest comparison that I personally have read, and I want to read more things like this. This story is one of my favorites, and I think The Final Strife also going to be one of my favorite series once I finish the whole thing. I think my other comparison is the Aurelian Cycle by Rosaria Munda. This obviously does not have that deep discussion on race that I think both the Poppy War and the Final Stripe does, but this honestly kind of feels like these two had a baby. But this has that really big discussion on the privilege of the rich and how the rich eat the poor, essentially, and that civilization is built on the backs of the poor people. And I think the comparison for this is also that Annie is poor and comes from a poor family. So then when we see her ascend to a greater rank, we definitely have some of the discussion that I feel like we did get from the Final Strife and our character being red-blooded, but being raised in the lower class instead of the privilege that her birthright gave her. I think they had very similar discussions in them, but obviously I think the Final Strife dived way deeper into racism and things like that. I thought it was one of the most stunning books I've ever read. I loved it. The fantasy aspects of this are also so well done. I want to read more like it. I can't wait to continue it. I will definitely read more from Sarah El Arifi in the future as well, which is really good feeling because after Feybound, I was like, yeah, I'd read more, but like not a priority. And then this came up and I was like, this fits a lot of my buzzwords. And then 5-star, one of the best books I've ever read. I'm really strongly thinking that it is going to be a contender for one of my favorite books of all time, which are these two books currently. So I think it fits in with these quite well. It's my best book of the year. I can't lie. Everything else went out the door after this one. I thought it was just so well done. So beautifully written, so heartbreaking, also uplifting in other ways. I don't know how to explain my feelings for this. That's just really good. I really, really liked it. Okay, if we're looking at my like data report, I haven't really discussed everything that is on my 5-star audit, so it's hard to do like a checklist for you, but I'm gonna just like mark down how many I think it has. My concept is like I still have another book I want to read in this one, and I would love to do this again and explore more of the things that I think I love, but I think that this book hit 15 of my buzzwords. 15 out of 24. That's kind of cool. I want to like go through and almost make a list of like all of my favorite books and see how many they hit. Like I would love to know if there's like an average number that a book is supposed to hit. And I didn't count a couple. Like siblings, I feel like I almost could have counted because there is like a concept of siblings in this, but it does become romantic eventually because they're not like born siblings. So I didn't end up counting it, but at the beginning it was a storyline I was really invested in, was this like relationship they had as they grew up together and like the bond they had because of that. So like I didn't count that one, but I probably could have. 15 feels insane. That's a lot of hype to live up to, especially because I did it. I predicted a 5-star. The only reason I picked this book up was because of all of these things that I thought it had. It was not high up on my priority list, but I was like, well, it actually has this, this, and this, so I think it actually could be a 5-star. But before then, before I like researched into it, I was like, meh, maybe, maybe not, because of Feybound. I did it. I predicted a 5-star. Can we do it again? This is gonna be such a long clip, but I have one more book I want to read for this vlog. Okay, the next book I want to pick up is Burn For Me by Alona Andrews. I feel like this one I'm taking a chance on because I could not love it, but I think there's a really, really good chance that it's a 5-star. It's always so hard. I'm so unpredictable with my 5 stars. Well, apparently not. Apparently I'm not unpredictable, but it feels like I'm unpredictable. But I want to pick this one up mostly because I put up an Instagram story and I put up questions being like, what are books that have these different things? And they were all things that have been in my 5-star audit. And one of them was, I realized that I love books with different magic systems in them. So like not every character has the same magic. They can even be categories, and this one did come up for that. So I know it fits this. And some books I love that fit this where like each person has their own magic. The magic isn't the same in every single person is Fourth Wing. It has the signets that are all different. Red Queen, everyone has a different power as well in there. Air Awakens has like 4 categories of magic, but I count that as well. I just like to see how characters are adapting with their magics. Like I love seeing like how they're gonna problem solve based on the magics that they have with them and how someone else might have done it differently. Powerless, also they all have different magic. Along the Razor's Edge, there's like ingestion magic, and there's different types of ingestion magic you can have. Zodiac Academy, they all have different magics based on the type of fae they are. So it is something that I truly have loved. Like I love this. I just love seeing how people are dealing with things. I love how the different types of magic interact with each other, how the people with the different types of magics interact with each other. I think it's really something that I value in a story that I didn't realize I valued it, to be honest, until I did this 5-star audit. It's not something that I would have like called to to, being like, yeah, I really like this in books. But all of a sudden I saw this trend and I was like, oh, I really like different magic systems in the same story, in the same world. And so I do know Burn For Me has this, which is exciting. I think it's also Reluctant Allies to Lovers, but not 100% certain on that one. But I do think that they're like working on a case and they both have like the same person that they're trying to get and they end up like reluctantly working together. I could be wrong on that one. Reading the synopsis, I'm also kind of hoping for a secret identity, but I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. I know she's a detective working on this case, so I'm like, oh, I wonder if she goes undercover. I would love that. And I'm really just hoping that she's the type of main character I like. It really worked for me in the last book. The POVs all were characters I really, really loved. I just want to talk about that book some more because I'm so in love with it. But I am really excited to read Burn For Me. I'm really excited to dive into it. And I hope I love it. But I'm definitely going pretty hard on the fact that it is that like magic system that I like. And then another thing that I think I do really like is the like science elements in a story. And I believe it is Our World that this is in, but everyone has magic abilities because science awaken magical abilities in them. I've always loved science elements in my stories. Along the Razor's Edge and Ashes of the Sun are ones I really think of. I always want to read more books with science elements in them, but those two, I remember like really thinking that was a strong suit of them for me. So I'm hoping that the science elements in this also come through for me. I'm excited. I'm gonna get to reading, probably watch some TV today because I feel dead because I dropped Lexi off the airport at 5 a.m. But hopefully I have an update for you soon and it's going well. And do not blame me if my update is just me talking about the final strife because it's all I'm thinking about currently. I'm literally still thinking about the 3 characters. Like I need book 2 now. What are the 3 of them doing? It was so good. This book honestly reads so unbelievably quick. I'm on chapter 5, which is already 24% into the book. The chapters are pretty long. I am on page 87, but it's definitely like so easy to continue reading and to flip the pages. I'm definitely enjoying it. It hits another one of my buzzwords that I wasn't expecting. The reason she is doing this mission and everything is for her family. So essentially in this story, her family runs a family business where they're essentially like PIs and they do cases like insurance fraud, someone cheating on their wife, like things like that. They're very good guys about it. They don't take on things where it's like fighting for the bad guy. So they're definitely like on the wife's side, you know, like things like that. And they're a very small company and they actually have been losing money more and more. So they end up selling their firm to like a bigger firm. And so they make like payments to the firm each month, but like that big firm kind of like lets them do whatever they want to do as long as they make those payments. However, they are called in by that big firm, their like management company, to work on a impossible case, a case she would never take because she knows there's no way she can do it. Actually, she's probably gonna die doing it. The thing is, like most rich, corrupt people, this firm doesn't care. They're just trying to essentially cover their asses, and if they lose this team, they're not really losing a lot of money, so they are kind of sacrificing them. So it's very much not great. And so she takes this because if she doesn't take this job, they essentially like break their contract and then her whole family business will be taken from them. Everything they own will be taken from them and her family will be homeless on the streets. So she's like, well, I have no choice. I have to take this job and I'm gonna have to complete it. So the reason she does this is her family and there is the family business. So the family is like a really big part of it. So I do think it encompasses 2 of the other things I like. I have them written down separately on my trend report. The family drama that I talked about earlier in the last book, as well as sibling love. I love a book about siblings and she does have siblings in this, but also it's multi-generational within her family. So her grandmother's there, her mom's there, and they work a little bit differently like because of that. Like she comes home and she's like, I have to avoid my mom because my mom's gonna want to take care of me, and her grandmother's like bothering her about things. Like it is about her place in the family system a little bit, which is something I love. Family's so important to me and I love reading about it, whether it's a well-rounded, well-loved family or a messy family, because I think both are very real to society. So it does hit that buzzword as well. And then I did say that I thought it was going to hit hidden identity. So far it doesn't feel like she's like going to be undercover. She's very like upfront about who she is when she talks to everyone. However, I think it still hits hidden identity because she has a power in this world, but she's undocumented. So no one knows she has this power. So she is like hiding it a little bit as she uses it and stuff. It's also a power that I think I really like. It is to be able to tell if someone someone's lying. And I love that in the Truth Witch series as well. So I want to read more things with this power maybe. I do know this ends up being a romance at some point, but I haven't hit the romance part yet. So far, as I said, I am really enjoying it. It's really easy to read. I'm invested. I've loved learning about all the different magic types. There's like levels of magic users. Like a prime is like holy heck run away. And then there's like different amounts of how much magic you have and how diluted your magic is. Like prime is like the top, and I love learning that aspect and seeing how like a prime uses their magic versus someone at like the bottom of the magic totem pole. Also learning all the different types of magic. There's like categories of magic, there's like types of magic within the categories, and as we've learned about new people and new characters in the book, we've learned more about their magics, and I really have enjoyed that. I find it so interesting and engaging to read about those things, so that's definitely still a buzzword and it's really working for me, which I'm glad because it's why I picked this book up. The one thing I could complain about is how like excessively descriptive this story is about what people are wearing. It does feel like it fits more the paranormal vibe. I feel like I do see that in paranormal writing a little bit more, and in some instances it really does make sense because she's trying to showcase the wealth gap because there are like the rich prime families. Oh yeah, that's another way family drama could be added into this, is like the really privileged prime families are called like houses, and so there's like a house with the last name of the family and they run things. So I definitely do think this hits family drama quite well for me. I'm very interested to see more elements of that, like when they call the families or she meets more of the families and seeing like maybe the inside of the families, because I think the love interest might come from a family, so that'll be interesting. But back to what I was saying about clothing, she is trying to like show that bridge of wealth because clothes are like a big part of it. So sometimes it really does make sense. Like there's a whole discussion about what she wears and how this guy knows she's probably not sent by his mother because of what she's wearing, and she kind of talks about how she owns like one nice suit so that if she's trying to get a job from someone who's like richer, she wears that nice suit, because sadly those things affect how people see you, which is so disgusting and so sad, but it's very real to how the world is. I think any of us can say like if you walk around in like more of a fancy store in fancy clothes, they pay way more attention to you because they think you're gonna buy things than if you walk around in like sweatpants. And it's really sad. I think it's sad. I don't think that people should be judged by how they look, but it is a real thing. And so I do understand why it's happening in some segments, but there was also just like a time where we were walking down the street and she was describing what every single person was wearing, and I was like, I don't need to know that she has dark jeans on and she has light jeans on, and that her sweater is brown and her sweater is pink. So that is probably like the biggest complaint I have, but at the same time it's not really bothering me because it's reading so quickly, and when it does like matter, I do think it impacts the story. Like I do enjoy when she's talking about how that guy she knows is rich because of what he's wearing. Like I think that that is very interesting to see, and I do think like people born rich tend to wear like a little bit less shiny things. Like they still look rich, but like you see someone who became rich and they're like decked out in jewelry and stuff because they're just like flaunting their wealth a little bit more. I think that that's a really interesting conversation to have because it is something we see a lot. So I'm definitely interested in that. I do love the discussion on privilege and wealth and all of that, especially coming from her who has worked a little bit harder for what she has and she's struggled for what she has, and she's got older sister vibes. Obviously I'm a younger sister, but I think that that is always interesting. Like she's trying to protect her family at all costs, and I love that in a main character. So I'm very much hopeful about this book and where the story can go. I think I just met the love interest, to be honest, with where I left off. I'm very excited to read. I'm gonna hop on some Patreon spins. I think I haven't been on Patreon spins for a while because of all my friends being here and like the prep before they got here, so I'm excited to talk to my patrons and hang out for a bit. So that's exciting, and hopefully we get a good chunk of this done. I also ordered crumble for breakfast this morning. I didn't showcase it off because I wanted to eat it as soon as it got here. I mean, I still have cookies left, but I was like, I don't want to taste test because I just want to eat things. Oh, I also had a coffee for the first time this morning because Monica and Lexi don't really drink coffee. Just me and Mel did, and for some reason we said we were gonna get coffee and we just like never ended up really getting coffee. And so this morning I made myself a coffee and it felt so heavenly after like a week break from coffee. Although I always think that those breaks are really nice because I don't want to be addicted to coffee. I don't want to rely on coffee to wake me up in the morning to make me not grumpy. But I will say my coffee tasted extra good today. Mel and me only got coffee once. So I was definitely excited for my coffee, and I might make a decaf one. I don't like to drink more than one coffee a day. I get the jitters pretty badly, so So I might make a decaf one because I think it tasted so good that I want another. What's a girl gotta do? I just filmed a bunch of thumbnail pictures in a bunch of different spots. Predict us a 5-star, Miley. Be our professor. Setting up my thumbnail and Miley is just chillin'. Having a good old time. She is the star of the show. To figure out what I wanted to do for this, and the settings on this are a little bit weird because I was trying to make sure this was in focus as well, but I did want to film a little update because I have been enjoying this. This is obviously burned for me on this little thingy, and I thought this was really fun. I switched to the audiobook, and originally people had told me the audiobook was really bad, and I do kind of agree that the 2014 audiobook sounded not good. I listened to the sample, and I just like feel like they didn't place the right voice actor. She reads really old in that one, and she is 25 in this story and a little bit more young and impulsive than I feel like that audiobook reader read. She felt like more mature in that one, and she didn't have the same like young tone that I wanted, so I ended up getting the dramatized version, and I'm honestly a hater of dramatized versions typically, but this is really good. I'm actually really enjoying the dramatized version. It actually does read very much like a movie as I'm listening to it. I don't have a lot of thoughts on this one. It's kind of just easy going. I'm listening to it. I do really like the banter between them. They are reluctant allies to lovers, so bingo on that one. And honestly, it hits all of these. Technically, I only put urban setting on this because going into this, I thought I only liked a secondary world urban setting, but the Bone Season is also our world urban setting, and I think as long as it feels different enough, I think as long as it doesn't feel modern day for me, like I could walk out into the street and this was my world, then I'm liking it. Like it feels different enough. It is our world, but it doesn't really feel so close to home. It feels like a dystopian world almost. So I did just put urban setting on this because I do think I like urban settings in general. I just prefer them secondary world. So that's hitting that. Family drama, different types of magics, impulsive character. She's definitely more mature than I think of when a stubborn, impulsive character, but I also still see that side of her and enjoy her because of it. She does think through a little bit, but she's also signing up to do things she probably shouldn't and not thinking through every little thing she does. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm gonna change back into my short outfit because this is way too hot, but I didn't want my like legs, my bare legs in the thumbnails, so I put on my like long overalls that are linen, and I think it looks cute. I think it matches the vibe. I wish I could have put my like fake glasses on because I have blue light glasses. I think that really would have matched the vibe, but I'm excited to see how these thumbnails turned out. Hopefully they looked good. I just like really spent a lot of time on this. I probably could have gotten rid of the "Can I predict a 5-star" and just put that as like the title across, but we will see. I'm hoping it turned out. Otherwise I will be annoyed and I'll be back here tomorrow doing the same thing. But I have gotten a lot of the audiobook listened to. I don't know where I am. The dramatized version is hard because it doesn't have chapter breaks, so it's gonna be really hard when I want to swap back to the ebook later. And I do think I would like this a little bit more if I was reading physically. I just prefer to read with my eyes. I find that I go back if I miss something a little bit more, and I just enjoy a story just a little bit more. Typically it's not gonna make or break a star rating, but I think it make or breaks how much the book sticks with me sometimes. But I've given a lot of books 5 stars that I've listened to the audiobook. It's not like something that's gonna hold back this book from being a 5-star. Although currently I'm feeling a 4-star, and I don't really know why. Well, my one other complaint other than the like descriptions earlier is I want more with other characters. I do love her family and I love when we get the moments with it, but I feel like it's been very heavily just her and one other character, and I wish that it branched out just a little bit more for my personal enjoyment, but I'm having a good time with it. So hopefully I did predict a second 5-star because that would be brilliant. I have about an hour of listening time left in the audiobook. I'm sad because I'm definitely not feeling a 5-star. It feels like a 4-star. I've really enjoyed this book. I've really enjoyed listening to it, but there are just little things that are holding me back. I think I'm just not sold by their relationship. I think the male main character feels a little flat to me. He feels like he just is all powerful and has so much money, and I think that is one thing that I'm really struggling with in this book is actually how all powerful all the primes are. I wish that I could see them like knocked down a little bit. I don't love a like all powerful character, and the heroes being all powerful also sometimes sucks. I'm okay with them being like powerful, but I want there to be something that shows their weakness, and I don't feel like we've gotten that. We've gotten like the shockwave thing and that's about it, but we really haven't seen it in use that much. If you're gonna make him like super powerful with his powers, maybe have him like emotionally show weakness at times, and I feel like we also don't get that. Okay, it's also hotter than I thought it was today. I need to take this off. Oh my god, that is so much better. I've been in the basement, so it's not as hot down there. But yeah, I think I'm really struggling with him as a character specifically. He is just like kind of a simp for her, and I don't love that really early on. I'm not sold on him, that's for sure. Even though I think that I could become sold on him in future books. Like, I'm really enjoying this book. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it will be a pretty strong 4-star. I've had a lot of fun with it, but these are just like little nitpicks I'm having that didn't make it a 5-star. The other thing that like really annoys me is his name is Mad Rogan because people think he went mad, and she calls him Mad Rogan every single time, and she says his name a lot, and in a sentence she'll say his name like 3 times, and every single time she says Mad Rogan, and I'm just like, we could just drop the mad every once in a while. I get it, we could drop the mad. We could just call him Rogan, especially as they became more familiar and he's doing more like romance things. Yeah, that's like a really, really big nitpick. It's not really ruining my enjoyment. It's just something I noticed. It's like the same thing as like the character descriptions a lot. It's just something I really noticed, but not something that's like affecting my overall enjoyment. Other than that, I don't really know why it's not 100% a 5-star. It does fit a couple more buzzwords. I would say it feels like a CW show. There's something slice of life about the way this is written that I feel like fits what I mean when I talk about CW show fantasies, which I kind of have talked about a couple times on my channel. Things like Zodiac Academy, Reign of Shadows and Endings, Bonded by Thorns, those really fit this vibe of a CW show to me. It just feels like I'm watching a CW show. And I think this one also kind of fits it. And it's the way that it's a little bit slice of life. We talk about her high school experience for a bit. We're watching her family have dinner, things like that. Like, there's little small moments that don't feel like they're useless to the storyline. Like, it doesn't feel like a pointless scene. It just kind of feels like a little side quest to understand more information about our character or about some other direction of the story that's important. So it's done really well, and I do enjoy that aspect of it. But definitely something is holding this from being a 5-star. I really truly think it's the romance. Also, it feels really much about the two of them, and because their romance for me is falling a little bit flat, I think that doesn't help. I prefer all the scenes with all the family members and other characters, but really whenever we leave the house, it's just the two of them. They're in a car together, they're stuck under a house together, they're investigating together. It's really, really heavy, a lot of scenes of just the two of them, and I always prefer stories that are more characters, like found family is a big aspect for me, things like that. So I do think that's something I don't like thoroughly love about this, but it does have her family elements as well. I'm interested. I'm gonna have to figure out how many buzzwords this hits for me, and maybe there is like a minimum that it has to hit or something, and this just hasn't hit enough of them, or maybe it's just like I'm not obsessed with the characters, which does really matter. I think at the end of the day, I like them, but I'm not like squealing at all their scenes. Like, I'm not deeply ingrained into what their actions are and their choices. Even like the female main character, although I do think you could say she fits my impulsive character, I think as the story has gone on, I haven't really found her to be impulsive. I haven't really found her to be unlikable, which is kind of the character I think of wholly with that spot. She makes some dumb decisions, but she's not like jumping in based on emotions. She's definitely still thinking things through a little bit more. So I don't know if she fully fits that, but I understand why people would recommend her to me as that character. It's so hard because reading is so up to interpretation. Reading truly is about how you connect to a character. I have learned more and more as I talk to people about things how often our life experiences are self-inserted into stories. I don't even think people realize that they're doing it. Your want for fictional men, even though, hear me out, even though we end up liking fictional men that we would not date in real life, there is an element of your self-insertion as well into it and what you want at the same time. It's really interesting to deep dive into with people because so many people tell me that like, no, they don't self-insert, and then we start talking about it and you really do realize how much you are self-inserting into things. And sometimes it's not even just like self-inserting, like this is who I am so I like to read about it. Sometimes it's like this is who I wish I was so I like to read about it, or things like that. It's really, really fascinating. It's something I've dived deeper into with my Patreons and my friends this year, and I've really come to terms with self-inserting in books. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest. So you just got a little ramble for nothing because I don't remember where that started. Oops, this is how my brain works. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this morning and then I can get this video up to you guys literally today, because that would be great to have this vlog up because I have not posted in a couple days and I need to post, but I've been exhausted. I know I didn't travel, but having friends here and like not not being in my own house and like hosting is just so exhausting. Also, I'm so excited for the thumbnails. I edited them last night and I think they are my favorite thumbnails. 2 of them, I made 3, but 2 of them are literally so cool and I want to make more videos that I could use my whiteboard for. Honestly, I want to do more things like this. If you liked this, please let me know because I really enjoyed this and I'm hoping it does good on YouTube because I want to do another version of it. Like I would love to do another episode of it. I think there's more books. I know my patrons yesterday, Claire was like, literally Crescent City fits all of your buzzwords. What are you doing? And so like I would love to do this again. And I would say like all the books I picked up in this video have been books I was hesitant to pick up until I like looked into how many buzzwords they had. Like they weren't books that I was already like, oh my god, I'm going to pick up and love. Like they were all books that people recommended to me based on my buzzwords. And here I am. And even though this isn't a 5-star, I count 4 stars as such a win still, especially because I probably would have never picked this book up without someone telling me that it fit these things. And I will continue. Like I do plan on reading book 2. Honestly, probably next week. The graphic audio for book 2 comes out next week. And in my brain, I'm picturing listening to it and playing Tiny Bookshop because I haven't played Tiny Bookshop yet. I've been kind of waiting for the perfect audiobook for it and I feel like that would really work really well. So yeah, I'm very happy with how successful I think this was and I think it's really fascinating also to see how successful it is. I would love to see other people do this too and see if it's successful for them as well or if I'm just so predictable, which like I love being predictable specifically because everyone tells me I'm unpredictable, but like do I just like what I like and that's the only thing I like? Maybe. I just finished the audiobook. I am conflicted. This is a book that I think is really hard for me to rate. Part of me feels like it was a 3. Really a 3.5. I feel like saying it's a 3 doesn't feel like it gets the point of how much I did enjoy this book across, but it also doesn't feel like an oh my god, I almost loved this book. So I'm really struggling with my rating. I think I am going to give it a 4 because I think there was so much potential and I read it in a day. Like I literally read it in 24 hours. So I think that that says a lot about the story and how much I did enjoy it. I think I just always want to be so attached to the characters. And so since I was missing that element of it, I'm not like obsessed with it. And I typically think about this obsessed feeling for 4s and 5s. However, I think more and more that obsessed feeling means I'm giving a book 5 stars. I've really had struggles with what to give 4 stars this year as I've been trying to more and more give 5s because there were so many times where a 4-star ended up on my best of the year list and it probably still will happen. But I was trying to be like, well, if I was obsessed, even if there was things wrong, that's a 5-star. So my 4 stars are kind of like this weird space right now where I'm unsure what makes a 4-star. So I feel like I've given out a lot of 3s and a lot of 5s this year because I'm unsure about those 4s. I think I'm gonna give this one a 4-star. I feel like it's a 3.5 rounded up, but I don't give half stars out. If I gave half stars out, I would probably tell you it was a 3.5. I just wanted to be obsessed, as I said, and then also I feel like not a lot happened in this story. It was very like almost travel-y in an urban fantasy way. Like they weren't on this long quest, but I feel like it just went from point A to point B. I think I prefer stories with like school settings and trials and things like that because it gives the plot a really good endpoint, and I was kind of unsure about where this endpoint would be. We did get a good endpoint, I think, and the epilogue of this, like the last chapter, has me really intrigued about the next book. But I think I just kind of felt like, where was this book going sometimes? What was the purpose of the plot and things like that? And I do think we've set that up a little bit in that epilogue, and so I think I'm trying to treat this like a setup book, and I'm excited for where I think this story could go. I kind of wish we dived deeper into the politics of the story and things like that because we do have those houses, and I kind of wish they had mattered more than they did, especially with him being one of the like house, like the ruling house people. I think that I really would have liked to dive into like how intricate the city works because of that, and I feel like it was just very surface level. I honestly think most of the story was surface level, which I think is what's keeping it from a 5-star, even though I really did enjoy the story overall. I think that this hits 7 of my buzzwords, so it's less than 50%, and I would be intrigued to know if that matters. I think it's like 33% or something. There is that. And also I wanted to state that I don't think this counted for science elements. Maybe it does as the series goes on, but I don't really feel like we dive deep enough into how science awakened the magic within them for me to count this as like a book revolving science elements in it and having science be a big part of the magic system and things things like that. I just don't think that it dived deep enough into that. I don't really even, I think it was just like a one-off sentence telling me that. I would remove that from my list. That wasn't included in the 7 that I think it has, but it has siblings, it has like the family drama, it does have the different magic system. There are things that I really did enjoy in this book. I'm really intrigued to how many buzzwords does it need? I feel very successful with this vlog because we did get a 5-star. Like I did predict a 5-star, and I also predicted books that I really did enjoy. The first book doesn't count, but honestly, I don't think that really counts for many of my buzzwords. I think that it had a couple, but not a lot, and so I understand why I didn't like that one. I feel like if I were to go back in time, that would not be a book that I would predict, because once I had read it and understood the tropes and stuff in it, they weren't what I was meaning by the things that I said. Like I don't think it was reluctant allies to lovers, it was enemies to lovers. And I do think that it has to have lots of the buzzwords. I do think I learned that it has to have a pretty big overlap. I'm curious if it is more than 50%. I'm really, really curious. I'm gonna need to go like deep dive into all the stories I like and things like that. That is a very interesting thing, I think, for my brain to do. So yeah, I think this was a success. I think I did predict it. I'd love to do it again and see if I can predict another one. I also think it's going to change how I think about books, what I want in books. Like I think now looking at this 5-star audit and realizing that I want these things, I'm quickly realizing that I'm constantly looking for more trends now. As I get more 5 stars, I'm like, okay, what did this have in common with other stories that I loved? And also I think when I'm looking for recommendations, when I'm looking for books, these are things that I will easily gravitate towards wanting. And I definitely will be looking at my Instagram stories that I had asked for a couple things. I think I asked for rebellions, siblings, and different types of magic. I definitely will be looking at all the books that people recommended to me in there and checking some of them out. I definitely think this was so helpful and I want to do it again. So let me know if you enjoyed this video. Like please let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any recommendations for things that you think I would love. Like tell me what things they fit. And if you want to see the entire 5-star audit, there is a video and a post that my top tier patrons got, which is linked down below. Obviously, like I walked you through a bunch of it in this one, so I don't think it's necessary, but if you are intrigued, they did get like a whole document essentially with everything and all of that, as well as a video of me like trying to figure things out, but definitely not necessary. Do not feel pressured to do it at all. I just wanted to put it out there that it is there if you want more of the nitty-gritty stats and things like that. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me a city skyline emoji and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.